All right, I'll tell you what, guys. There's something I've been thinking about for a while now, and it's kind of weird. It's about books, and a lot of people like books in school. I think kind of suck. You're forced to read, Shakespeare or a lot of things that just aren't particularly interesting to most people. And there's definitely appeal for it, and people like it. Some people care, but if you don't like it, it's really weird because essentially you're just kind of stuck with it. You got no real choice. You're just gotta read books. At least if you want to pass English class, right? And it's even worse too because they're you gotta write in your books. So they're take notes in your books, and it's crazy stuff. So what I want to talk about today is taking reading as a way to learn things that you care about and a way to expand your thinking and your growth, and not necessarily from an educational standpoint of, oh, we should have books, here's why you need books, right? Because I think it's really just a totally different way to look at yourself. And it's something that a friend told me about, about year and a half ago, sort of when we were still doing cryptocurrency, or really, the hyped up swing trading. It was really cool stuff, and I just, books just not even part of my life. It was such a weird thing because I never really cared about that part of it. So it was I can learn everything I want by sitting here on YouTube and just watching videos, right? There's a video about anything I could want to do, and that mentality was sort of limiting, and it used up a lot of my time, right? Because it's a big investment of time to watch videos, taken away from work potentially, or trading. So I just never thought of books. And then you learn stuff, but you only learn it at the pace that individuals can present it to you at, like me talking to you, and you're just getting this off the cuff, right? All these videos, right? Some of these books, right? People spend years and years of their life writing a book, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's one of the first videos on here. The guy spent 25 years writing a book. I mean, you look at anything on video content platform, social media, and there's just people might spend a week or a month or two on a project, maybe a year at most, just for a video. That's a huge commitment. But for a book, it's oh, it's a book, it makes sense. So you have somebody putting so much time into a piece of work that they can transcend their entire life in a very, very short amount of time. And instead of having to watch maybe 10,000 videos by somebody or 100 videos by somebody, you read one book and you can encapsulate their entire thought process and logic behind how they work and how they function, and you can take that and bring it in part of your learning experience and just fast track your education. So it's so much easier to get through much, much more information and apply and learn all these principles that you can use to create more results and really impact in your life through other people's entire lives in a book. Now, it's different from education in the sense that these are the books you're assigned in school. I got a bunch, right? But they're all fiction books, and there are people who love them, and that is just killer. It's so cool to see that people love that stuff and it works for them, and it's entertaining. What I'm looking at with reading is using it not as an entertainment tool, but as a form of disciplined and completely purposeful education. So using your library card, or $10, $20, $30 at most to buy a book, and you use that book as a total guide for your education to a particular field. So all of a sudden, right, instead of having to go and be a CEO or literally interview hundreds of people, you just read one book, some guy already did it. It's specialization of information. And I do a lot of book review videos because I want to help people sort of understand some of the best books that I've read that I filter through, and then I put them up on here because I think they can have a big impact on people looking to grow themselves, their business in a particular niche industry, make more success for their lives. That's where I'm really passionate about, and that's what I read a lot about, really to create real savings and retirements for masses of people as a fundamental long-term goal. You work towards that by improving your personal education, kind of investing time, not so much money. Like, books are cheap, right? You can get it for free at the library, or you can just buy them on Amazon. They're super cheap. Like, relative to, you know, a college education, or you know, paying thousands of dollars. And online classes, you know, in college, it's great, right? You learn so much, and it's really phenomenal. But it's just opening up a new avenue of growth that just isn't there, you know? Like, how are you gonna get Peter Thiel's life, read his book, you know, 0 to 1, and now all of a sudden you've got this whole new mindset that took this man like decades of his life, you know, working at tech companies, investing in tech companies, and that's just an asset that's part of you now, and you can apply exact principles and strategies these people go through, and it was so revealing. And I just hated reading. Well, I didn't hate reading. It was just, I liked reading as a kid, but it was all like fiction reading, and you're reading for entertainment. And I never once thought that you can use books as just this massive portal of opportunity. So I'll tell you what, I'll link it below. There's a video I did here on Think and Grow Rich. That was one of the first books like that I really ever read, as a growth book, as a book going into it with the fundamental mindset of, I want to change the way that I look and work in this world by adopting the viewpoints and aspirations of other great individuals. And reading Think and Grow Rich was such a mind opener, and it just really changed the way I even thought about, like, what is education? How can I grow? And then also, like, fundamental, you know, I got a whole video on it, but it's like, getting those long-term goals and building a real future for yourself is such a killer investment of time. And you spend like maybe a day in your life and read a book like that, and all of a sudden that's something that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. It's an investment of time and energy that you can leverage for decades to come, because all of a sudden you've got like Andrew Carnegie, you've got Napoleon Hill, you've got these great speakers and influencers at the time, or even current people. There's so many options, and it's just getting out there and finding it, and then just committing to it, you know? So killer stuff. If you have not read a book in the past, you know, half year, to develop yourself and really build towards a better future, towards your overarching long-term goals. And my God, if you don't have overarching long-term goals, check out some of the videos on here, because that's really what I'm trying to do here, is help people freaking kill it. So have a good one, guys. Thanks.